dealing with the Lewis case, Ms. Turner?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
All right. All right. This is call number 2020-49417 in the interest of Floyd, Alessandra, and Emma Lewis. All parties, please raise your right hands to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yep. Yes.
All right, ma'am. Please state your name and your relationship to the children.
Rachel McGill, and I'm their mother.
Okay. And for the state?
Marcella Turner.
Court will note that the non-custodial parent is Floyd Nicholas Lewis. He's not present, and he was served on March 4th, 2021 at 6:33 p.m. at 2730 Lafferty Road, apartment 218, Pasadena, Harris County, Texas. He's not filed an answer, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And he was given further notice of this Zoom hearing by certified mail return receipt requested, which was delivered on May 20th in Pasadena, Texas. And he is not checked in, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
We'll proceed by default.
Thank you. At this time, the state would like to call Miss Rachel McGill. Miss McGill, what are the three names of the children before the court today and their ages?
Floyd Nicholas Lewis Jr., he's 14. Alessandra Renee Lee Lewis, she's 13. And Emma Marie Lewis, and she's 11.
Now, prior to today, or at the children's birth, Mr. Lewis signed an acknowledgement of paternity for Alexandra and Emma. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you signed that as well. Is that also correct?
Yes.
And at the time of Floyd Lewis Jr.'s conception, were you sexually involved with anyone else other than Mr. Floyd Lewis, Nicholas Lewis?
No.
And were you married at the time of Floyd's birth or conception?
No.
And have you ever been married?
No.
And is there any possibility that anyone else other than Mr. Floyd Nicholas Lewis could be the father of Floyd Nicholas Lewis?
No.
And are you asking this court to order that the parent-child relationship be established today between Mr. Floyd Lewis and Floyd Jr.?
Yes.
And prior to today, how Mr. Lewis seen these three children?
I'm sorry, you cut out.
How many times could you estimate that Mr. Lewis has actually seen these children or visited with these children?
Well, we were together until 2015 or 2014, I think. And in the last 2 years, he hasn't been around much. I think the kids have seen him maybe 4 times.
Okay. And who makes the day-to-day decisions regarding these three children?
I do.
And who takes care of the general needs of these children on a consistent basis?
I do.
And has Mr. Lewis ever shown a consistent desire or willingness to be more involved as an active parent in these three children's lives?
Recently, a little bit more, but not up until recently.
And so if you had to estimate or be more specific with a little bit more, how many times would you estimate that he's actually called to inquire about their general welfare?
In the last 6 months, maybe 3 times.
Okay. And who takes these children to their doctors and dentist appointments?
I do.
And who attends any parent-teacher conferences or any meetings regarding these children when issues arise?
I do.
Yeah. And based off of that, asking this court to appoint you as the managing conservator and Mr. Floyd Lewis as possessory conservator?
Yes.
And have there ever been any family violence issues to occur between yourself and Mr. Lewis?
There have in the past when we were together.
What about within the last 2 years?
Not in the last 2 years. He hasn't been around enough for there to be any kind of violence.
Okay, and has he ever threatened to do harm to you or the children, or abuse or harassment? Has he ever harassed you?
Not in the last 2 years.
Okay, and in regards to Mr. Lewis having access to your address, are you asking this court to enter a non-disclosure regarding your address?
Yes.
And why is that?
Well, he and my father do not get along, and I live in my father's house. And so
Okay, and so
he has in the past caused issues, and I just don't want him to know that I live here. He knows that I live here, he just doesn't know where here is.
And so if he were to have access to your address, which is your father's address, do you believe that it could possibly bring some sort of harassment or, cause some situations that might turn volatile as they have in the past?
Yes.
And as a result, are you asking this court to order that your address not be disclosed?
Yes.
And do you have any safety concerns with Mr. Lewis having visitation with these children?
No.
And are you asking this court to order that Mr. Lewis be designated as the possessory conservator and you as the managing conservator be given the right to determine the children's primary residence within Texas, the state of
Yes.
Texas? And are you asking this court to enter a standard possession and access order for visitation purposes?
Yes.
And if this court were to grant your request for a non-disclosure, we have talked about, and there is an address listed within the order for the exchange to take place. Is that also correct?
Yes.
The Walmart parking lot?
Yes.
Okay, and so that would not pose an issue for you guys to do exchanges at that Walmart parking lot listed in the order. Is that correct?
Yes, that's fine.
This is at
And
5200
to your,
Parkway, Pasadena,
Yeah.
Texas.
Yes.
All
On
right.
Fairmont. Yeah.
and to your knowledge, does Mr. Lewis have any other children other than your 3 children under the age of 18?
Yes.
And does he have a child support order for those children?
Yes.
And how many other children does he have?
2 that I know of.
Okay. And to your knowledge, is Mr. Mr. Lewis currently employed?
As from what he's told me, he is. Other than that, I don't have any idea where.
Okay, and we discussed that we were unable to find any information regarding his income. Is that correct?
Yes.
And as a result, you were told that the child support would be based off of the minimum wage presumption. Is that also correct?
Yes.
And how are these 3 children covered for medical and dental insurance?
They have Medicaid.
And are you asking this court to enter a cash medical support amount in the amount of $60 beginning July 1st of 2021?
I guess, is that on the paper? I couldn't see the printout.
Yeah, and that's the
Okay.
$60.
That's what I thought it was.
The six,
Okay. That's,
okay.
Yes. Sorry.
All right, that's okay. And are you asking this court to enter a child support amount in the amount of $272 beginning July 1st of 2021?
Yes.
And you are not seeking retroactive child medical or dental support, is that correct? That's also
No.
known as child support.
Yeah, no.
And you understand that you will not be able to come back and recover retroactive in the future.
That's fine.
And do you believe this order to be in the best interest of your 3 children?
Yes.
And are you asking this court to approve this default order?
Yes.
No further questions for this witness. I'll pass the witness.
All right. The order will be approved as submitted. Thank you very much. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yes.
Have a good day.
Ms. Jeffries, are you handling the Thomas matter?
Yes, Your Honor, I am. Ms.
Okay.
Thomas, could you please press start to unmute
I'm
yourself so the
sorry.
court can hear you?
You need to repeat that. You're breaking up.
I'm sorry, I was asking Ms. Thomas just to unmute her, Your Honor, so you can hear.
Okay, Miss And Miss Thomas is present telephonically, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Yes.
All right, this is cause number 2020-49406 in the interest of Alea Thomas. All parties and witnesses, please raise your right hand to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes,
Yes.
I do.
All right, Miss Thomas, please identify yourself and your relationship to the child.
My name is Audacious Thomas. I am the mother to the child.
All right, and for the state,
Angela Jeffries, Your Honor, with the Office of the Attorney General.
court will note that the non-custodial parent is Sylvester Taylor. Mr. Taylor was personally served on February 4th, 2021 at 11:27 a.m. at 1010 Sun Prairie Drive, apartment 703 in Houston, Harris County, Texas. He's not filed an answer, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. He has not filed an answer.
We'll proceed by default.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Arnaldo Barrera. Mr. Barrera, where are you employed, sir?
The Office of the Attorney General,
And what is your position at the Office of the Attorney General?
Child Support Officer,
And what is the nature of your responsibilities and duties as a child support officer?
conduct investigations on calculating child support and retroactive child support.
Okay. And have you received any special training to calculate child support and retroactive support in compliance with the Texas Family Code, sir?
Yes, I have.
Right. And have you calculated child support in this matter, sir?
Yes, I have.
Right. And what was the gross income that you found for Mr. Sylvester Jermaine Taylor?
Gross income is $1,256.67.
Okay. And is that based off of minimum wage presumption, Mr. Barrera?
Yes, that was based on the minimum wage presumption.
All right. And what percentage did you apply in this case, sir?
Percentage applied was 13.33, giving him credit for 5 other children.
Right. And what was Mr. Taylor's net resources that you found in this case?
Net resources was $1,119.45.
Okay. And what would you recommend the cash medical to be in this case, sir?
Cash medical would be $20 per month beginning July 1st, 2021.
And what is the guideline child support amount, sir, in this case?
Guideline child support would be $149 per month beginning July 1st, 2021 and monthly thereafter.
All right. And did you also calculate retroactive support in this case, sir?
Yes, I did.
And the period that you used for the calculation of retroactive support, can you please provide that to the court?
Yes, the period is between December 20th, 2018 through today's date, June 23rd, 2021.
And what did you calculate what did you calculate the retroactive support to be in this case?
The retroactive support based on the income from those months comes out to $5,553.
And how much do you recommend Mr. Taylor should pay on that judgment?
On that judgment, the payout would be $78 per month beginning the 1st of July, 2021.
Thank you. I have nothing further for this witness, Your Honor. I pass the witness.
All right, do you have any questions, Ms. Thomas, of Mr. Barrera?
No, I don't.
All right, can Mr. Barrera be excused, Ms. Jeffries?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Barrera, you're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Call your next witness, Ms. Jeffries.
Thank you. The state calls Audacious Cerise Thomas. Ms. Thomas, you're the mother of Ilea Dior Thomas. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. And when Ilea was born, you signed an acknowledgement of paternity with Mr. Taylor. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And so in that instance, paternity is not an issue in this case. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Now, how old is your daughter?
2.
Okay. And if a decision needed to be made regarding her day-to-day activities, who would make those decisions, ma'am?
It would be me.
Okay. If she needed to go to a doctor's appointment, who would make that appointment?
I would.
If there was an issue at her daycare or school, who would handle that?
It would be me.
Okay. And how would you describe your relationship with Mr. Taylor? Would you say good or bad?
Bad.
Okay. And do you think you can compare with Mr. Thomas? I'm sorry, with Mr.
sorry,
Taylor.
Can you repeat it?
Do you think you can compare? Do you think you can
No.
co-parent with Mr. Taylor? Okay.
No.
And so, do you think it's in the best interest in this case that you be appointed as a managing conservator of this child?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as far as where you live, do you reside in Harris County, ma'am?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, does the other parent, Mr. Taylor, live in Harris County?
Yes.
Do you understand that you'll be geographically restricted to reside in Harris or contiguous county until further orders of this court?
Yes.
All right. Now, has there ever been any issue of family violence between Mr. Taylor in the last 2 years?
No, not in the last 2 years.
Okay. Has there ever been an issue of family violence between you and him in the past?
Yes, 2018.
Okay. And what happened in that incident in 2018, ma'am?
He was arrested for strangling me.
Okay. And did he face criminal charges for that incident?
Yes, he's on probation right now.
Okay. Now, as far as visitation, would you have any issue with the court allowing overnight visitation with Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Okay. Why would you have an issue with the court ordering any overnight visitation with your daughter?
Just because he hasn't been around or involved, and because of his violent history.
Okay. And has there ever been an incident when he did take her and not bring her back or something like that?
Yes, he went to the child care and took her for 2 days, kidnapped her, and I had to call the police 3 times.
Okay. And is your daughter back in your possession right now, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. And so you're asking this court to order supervised visitation in this case for the duration. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. And that be supervised by your sister, LaShawna Hamlet. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that pickup and drop off be located during these supervised visits at the Chuck E. Cheese located at FM 1960 Bypass Road, Humble, Texas 77338.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you mentioned that there was a history of family violence maybe prior to 2 years from today, but do you feel like if Mr. Taylor had your address that might cause you some harm or harassment?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Does Mr. Taylor know where you live right now, Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And has he ever shown up to your house and harassed you at that address in the past?
No. In the past, yes, but not at this current address right now.
Okay. And what did he do when he just showed up at your house?
Tires were flattened, disturbance.
Okay.
Just
Okay. And so are you asking this court to not disclose your address and your information in this order?
yes.
Now, do you know if Mr. Taylor currently has a job, ma'am?
I do not know.
Okay. And you heard the child support officer say that this order is based off of minimum wage presumption. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. And to your knowledge, how many other children does Mr. Taylor have?
5.
Okay. Does he have more than 5 children, ma'am, or does he just have 5?
Ma'am?
How many children does he have? I'm gonna ask that question again. To your personal knowledge, how many children does he have in total?
11.
Okay.
But
And how many
5 that
children? Let me ask the question,
Go
Ms.
ahead.
Thomas. 11 children. How many does he pay child support for?
5.
Okay, so you understand when we calculated this child support amount that we did give him credit for those 5 other children.
Yes.
Okay. Then do you have any private health insurance available?
No.
And do you know if Mr. Taylor has any private health insurance available for your children?
No.
As far as the cash medical, you understand that that'll be $20 a month beginning July 1st of 2021 against Mr. Taylor, ma'am.
Okay, yes.
That your new child support amount will be $149 beginning July 1st of 2021.
Yes.
Now, as far as retroactive or back child support, has Mr. Taylor ever given you any money for this child?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and have you resided with Mr. Taylor since December 20th of 2018?
No.
Okay, so you understand that the retroactive judgment amount is $5,550,
Yes.
and that he will be ordered to pay $78 beginning July 1st of 2021.
Yes.
And then as far as court costs, if the court were to bill court costs, who do you believe they should be billed against me?
Sylvester Taylor.
All right, and you've already signed this default order, is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
And you believe this order to be in the best interest of your daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
You're asking the court to approve this order at this time.
Yes.
I have nothing further for this witness, Your Honor. I do pass the witness.
All right, the court will approve the order submitted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're excused.
Your Honor.